Good evening and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me wherever you are viewing me from, whatever platform you are viewing me from. My name is Rhonda Green. I am the founder of S.A.I.L. S.A.I.L is a 7-month mentorship program for survivors of domestic violence. S.A.I.L is an acronym that stands for Survivors Advocate, Inspire, and Live After Abuse. If you are a follower on TikTok, you know that we have Hillman Talk University going on. And so decided as a result of Dr. Barlow's inspiration to teach the masses, I would also give part of my program for free. And I'm going to take you through the same course I would go through with any female survivor of domestic violence that is actually enrolled in the class. This is the workbook. It is available on Amazon. You can purchase it on Amazon, regardless if you enroll in my 7-month program or not. We will be going through parts of this book in this free workshop that's being broadcast on YouTube as well as on TikTok. So if you are not a follower, please click the like button, follow me, and definitely go over to YouTube and subscribe so that you can get this content as well. The first thing I would do after I've had a student enrolled in my 7-month mentorship is we would sit down and we would go through some things. So again, welcome. I'm going to take you through the exact same information we would initially go through. If you don't know my story, again, my name is Rhonda Green, and I survived 2 abusive relationship. Once in college, in my early, like 19, I was around 19 years old, got out of that relationship. And then in my early 20s, I was engaged and got into another abusive relationship. So I will tell you this, I know the trauma of going through abuse, especially having done that at such a young age, and how it affected my life. And what I want for everyone who takes this online class, who actually goes through my program, is I want you to fully recover. I'm telling you, it took many, many years. I'm 49 years old now, but for at least 15, 20 years after surviving those abusive relationships, I still was in chains because of that. And that's why I create this program, because I don't want you as a survivor of domestic violence to be bound by what happened to you. I really want you to be free and thrive after surviving abuse. And so, again, I was only like 19 years old. And when I went to college, I had no idea what intimate partner violence was. I didn't grow up in a home where that occurred. So it took me by surprise. I didn't know how to react, I didn't know how to handle it. And I certainly did not know how to get out of it and move on afterwards. So I was trying to figure out for years how to recover, how to find myself again, how to love me again, how to trust my own instincts, intuition again, how to enter a relationship and navigate a relationship without doing it from a place of pain or expecting things to go wrong. I felt like I was never good enough for the ex. Um, and that played into other areas of my life, even with self-sabotaging myself in future relationships. So I had to finally find a way to break free from those cycles. Leaving an abuser, you're not just breaking free from, the cycle of being in that relationship with him or her. You also have to break free from the mental things that you go through, even when you're out of that relationship. I said in one of my videos that I got out of the relationship, but I didn't get the relationship out of me. So we are here to make sure we are fully moving on in every area of our lives. And so one of the first things I do is make sure that um, I want you to get the most out of this course, but I can't do that for you. You have to be committed to your own growth. And for anyone who actually goes through my paid mentorship, one thing that they sign in the contract is that if you return to your abuser, then you are automatically kicked out of my program, because I'm not here to go back and forth with someone who's still in that phase. And I was in that phase where I broke up with my ex and then got back with him. I mean, after all, the second guy was the one I was engaged to. So, and he was not my child's father, but there was just that wanting that family, that commitment, that marriage, everything to look good, but wanting that so bad to my own detriment and expense. So I know the struggle for a woman who's trying to get out of a relationship but keeps going back, and she's stuck. Now, my role as a mentor is not to get you unstuck when you're still in what's keeping you stick together. It's like you're still in that sticky situation. So I first need to make sure you are dedicated to your own success. Anyone who goes through my program knows you can't have that divided attention. You have to focus fully on you. And that's what I want every woman to do at this point once she's gotten out of the relationship safely. Have an exit plan, get out of the relationship. And that's when I step in to help. I'm not going to go back and forth. And it's kind of like tough love. And sometimes you need that because I can remember being in the relationship with my abuser. And my sister said, "Hey, let me take your daughter so you can just have an evening time to yourself to think." And that was a perfect opportunity for me to sit back and say, I don't want this for my life. I got to figure out this because it's going to end up killing me physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It was killing me. But you know what? Instead of me taking that opportunity, my daughter was young, like 6 years old. Instead of me taking that time I was given to just be with myself and reflect, I actually went to see him. So I know what it's like to be stuck, but I want you to get unstuck so that you can move on with your life. And this course again is called S.A.I.L, Survivors Advocate Inspire and Live After Abuse. And it's called S.A.I.L because sailing is a mode of transportation. So I don't know about you, but I love the ocean. I love going places. I love traveling. And when you think about being on a boat, a yacht, a cruise ship, you get on board knowing that you've got a destination to go to. For us as survivors of domestic violence, the destination is that life we want for ourselves. Sometimes we just don't know how to build that life after abuse because we're still stuck in the trauma. I'm not a mental health professional. So let me put that disclaimer out there. I teach my class from a place of experience. I have gone through some courses, read some books, but that was only to improve myself. And that's why you are here, to improve yourself. So I want to make sure I put that disclaimer out there. I do encourage everyone to seek professional help. One of the things about my program is you may get that professional help, but at the same time, you may also need someone there to hold your hand and be your accountability partner. I can remember when I got out of the relationship, there was a counselor, and I don't know if she was assigned from like a women's shelter, because I did stay in a women's shelter one night trying to get away from my ex. But I remember her saying, "Let's meet at the library." Like a week later, we met at the library, we sat down. She just said, "Hey, how are you?" And it was like she checked off her list that she did her job. She didn't really dig deep into what was really going on with me. And so that lack of really knowing someone's there for you, someone's got your back, you've got friends, because everybody's going to pat you and say, "I'm so glad you're out of that relationship. You're no longer with him." But nobody's going to just say, "Hey, how you really doing? How's your day-to-day life after you have left this person?" You can be in a regular relationship that does not have any emotional abuse, it does not have any physical abuse, it does not have any mental abuse. And if that relationship ends, you're still devastated because your feelings, your heart, you were planning on maybe spending your life with that person. So now you have the trauma bonding and all that other stuff that happens when you're in an abusive relationship going on. And imagine tearing that apart. You are torn. And so we want to get every part of your life back together. We want to sail to the other side of abuse. We want to sail to the other side of the depression. We want to sail to the other side of loneliness. We want to sail to the other side of thinking, "I'm not good enough." I want you to build your confidence. And through this program and this workbook, that's what we're going to do together. And I also start with an exercise. Thank you all so much for joining me. I always start with the exercise. And in that exercise, hopefully you're not afraid of water. It's okay. We're not going to go diving in the water in this exercise, but we're going to imagine ourselves on that yacht. If you just vision yourself before you get on there, you're standing on the sandy beach, and everything's so serene and calm. So I want you first to take your hand and find your pulse on your neck. If you feel that, get it to a place where you feel it. And that is your heartbeat. Now take a deep breath. Keep your finger on your pulse and relax your shoulders. Just make your shoulders drop. I want you to raise your eyebrows and then relax them. Unfurl your eyebrows. A lot of times we carry a lot of tension in our bodies and we don't even realize it. So now I want you to just relax your face. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And just let your body sink into whatever you're sitting on. Now imagine that you're sitting in a chair on a nice yacht. Take a deep breath. Inhale the fresh air. Listen to the sounds of the water. Feel the ocean air. And as you relax in your chair with a smile on your face, I want you to whisper a soft thank you. You're thankful for the courage that you had to leave the abusive relationship. You are thankful for the fact that you have the ability to be here and present in this moment. You're thankful because as long as your heart is beating, you have a chance to accomplish all the things that you want to accomplish in your life. Now come back to this moment with me. Get off the yacht. Is your heart beating faster or slower right now? I hope it's slowed down. I hope you found a place of relaxation. I hope you were able to take your mind to a place where everything was perfect in your life. Now, the heart has a rhythm, right? Our bodies have a rhythm. Situations can trigger changes in our heart rhythms. It can trigger changes in our sleep patterns, changes in our eating habits. We can always reset our rhythms. And if you're still holding onto your pulse, you can take your fingers away. Your heart's still going to beat even if you can't feel it with your finger. And that's the thing. When you are in an abusive relationship, your heart's still beating. You learn how to mask certain things. But I want you to learn now that you're out of that relationship to get into the rhythm of who you truly are. And that means living your best life. Living your best life is going to be so wonderful. You're going to have to touch yourself and say, oh my God, is this really my life? All right. So we are going to get there and we're going to get there together. The next thing I say to my students is this: are you coachable? If you feel you're coachable, put a yes in the chat, hit the hearts, hit the like button. But are you coachable? I need to know, what does that really mean to you? People will say they are coachable, but then when it gets down to the nitty gritty and doing the work, they're resistant. I know someone who I've been telling this individual for months what this person is capable of. This person has so much talent and so much abilities, but the individual doesn't see it for themselves. And when you don't see it for yourselves, you need someone like a mentor who can help pull it out of you. But we can pull, we can push, but you've got to do it and you've got to see it for yourself and you've got to be coachable. You've got to believe in yourself and you have to trust your coach to know that, listen, this person wants what is best for me. As someone who's been in an abusive relationship, I want what's best for you. I want you to get out of that situation and then I want you to get that situation out of you so you can move on and live a full life. Selling to the other side of abuse isn't always easy. It took me years and years to realize this is not what I want for my life and I can change things. You can change things. No matter where you are right now, you can change things. You have the ability. Take a deep breath. Exhale, let out the negativity and move forward in life. I want you to really look in the mirror and love yourself. You know, one thing we talk about in this workbook is love and what that really is. When you look into a mirror, I want you to love what you see. As a matter of fact, if you have an erasable marker, write on your bathroom mirror the things that you love about yourself. For example, you can write, I love my nose. I love my eyes. You know, my eyes looks just like my mother's eyes. My nose looks just like my grandfather's nose. You know, that's special to me because my dad was adopted. And I didn't know my biological grandfather until much later in life. And then when I saw him, I was like, that's where I get my nose from. So write in your on your mirror in your bathroom all the things you love about yourself, and you know you can even remind yourself of those little things. Thank you so much, and I have people on my other live as well. So thank you so much for joining me. So one thing, the first chapter in this book, we talk about love and how we love ourselves. So, do you love yourself? Is the very first question in this book. And I know that seems like a strange question to ask someone, but when you think about a woman who's been in an abusive relationship, she has defined her love for herself by what someone else has showed her and how they've treated her. And they've treated her bad. They have not treated her well at all. And let me tell you something. Women who are in an abusive relationship, you will not know what they've gone through. I don't want anybody to go through what I've been through, but I will tell you this. It was the worst experience I ever experienced with another human being. And that human being was someone I used to love. Love, because you love someone doesn't mean it's going to be reciprocated. Because you give to someone doesn't mean they're going to give back to you. Just because you do things a certain way doesn't mean that the person you're involved with is going to see things the same way or do things the same way. If they're a taker, they're a taker. You can't stick around and try to change them. And I'm going to tell you something I don't tell many people because it's like you don't understand when people are going through this. And I remember the worst part of that relationship, it was actually not him hitting me. I remember one time we were standing talking, and I'm not one to yell or things like that, but we had been together, and that's the tone he set for our relationship. And so it got to a point where that's the energy I met him with. And we had gotten into it. I don't even know what we were talking about. And he spit in my face. I never had that happen before. I never had that happen again. So I'm telling you, you know, when someone does something like that to you, it dehumanizes you and it makes you feel so horrible. A man doesn't respect you, one, if he's calling you out of your name, if he's treating you a certain way. And then when you stick around because you've allowed that initial disrespect, you allowed the first time he hit you, you allowed it, and he knows now, oh, I can get away with this, it only gets worse. And that's why people say, hey, if someone hits, push, shoves, don't think that's the last time. It gets worse. But the thing is, and again, if you're in a situation like that, find a way to safely escape, find a way to safely move on. I understand for some women, they may not have the finances, but I promise you, there are resources out there. There are resources so that you can get out and move on with your life. Don't risk someone taking your life, especially if you have children in a home, because that abuse that they're seeing is going to affect them for the rest of their lives. And I know you love your children. If you don't have the strength to leave for yourself, leave for your children. So back to why I wrote the first question. I wrote this first question, do you love yourself? Because I know a woman who's usually in an abusive relationship has lost her self love. All right. So my books, all three of my books will have scriptures in it. My other two books are about relationship, but I just want to point that out. This book, S.A.I.L, does have scriptures in it. And I use the Bible as my guide and my beacon. Then the question is, do you love yourself? And there's a Bible verse in First Corinthians chapter 13, verses 1 through 13 that talks about love. And it says, if I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but I do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but I do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror. There's that mirror again. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. So, the very first exercise, and this is your assignment between now and our next live. I want you to go to that verse in First Corinthians chapter 13. And that section where it talks about love is patient, love is kind. Your assignment is to write that verse, but put your name in that place. Substitute your name. So I would say Rhonda is patient. Rhonda is kind. Rhonda does not envy. Rhonda does not boast. Where it talks about the things love is, substitute your name. Because this for me is the definition of love. And when I ask you, do you love yourself? Here is a really solid, tangible way to determine the standard of love in your life. And so that's what, if you have the workbook, you have place a space in the workbook to go ahead and do this assignment. So I want you to find that verse. It doesn't matter which, if you use the ESV, the NIV, if you want the King James Version, okay, just substitute your name where it says love. And then our next class, we'll talk about how you love yourself. But that's the first chapter. That's one of the assignments in the first chapter in my book. Our lives will not be super long because I really want you to grasp this information, replay this, take time. It's going to be on YouTube as well, you guys. So all my platforms, I'm author Rhonda Green, YouTube Rhonda Green, that's RHONDA GREEN. So make sure if you want the workbook as we go through this over the next few weeks, go to Amazon. And I'm on Amazon, Rhonda Green. S.A.I.L is the name of the workbook. And grab it. It'll be shipped directly to you. You know, Amazon is pretty quick. But that way you have all the resources as we go through this. Again, it's a 7-month course. So I'm not going to be on YouTube doing this for 7 months. But we will definitely get through several parts of this book. Like I said, we did the exercise tonight in chapter 1. But we'll go through more in the future. I hope that this live was helpful to someone. If you have left an abusive relationship, please know that you are loved. Not only are you loved, but you are loved. Thank you so much for joining me for this first session of Survivors Advocate Inspire and Live After Abuse. I appreciate you all joining me on the live. Make sure you hit the like button. Please follow and subscribe wherever platform you are on. And if you have any questions or you want to get in touch with me personally, go to my website. There's a contact me form on there. And I didn't mention on my website, there is a free book called 7 Ways to Free Your Mind After Abuse. You don't have to put your email in that to get the book. I know some people like, I don't want to add my email. No, if you want to read 7 Ways to Free Your Mind After Abuse, just click on the picture and the book, the PDF will automatically populate. So you can read that. I definitely encourage you to read 7 Ways to Free Your Mind After Abuse. There's a lot of tidbits of information to help you move on after you've left an abuser. So grab that free resource. And if you need to contact me, you have questions, just send me a message via my website. Okay. I love you all. I really, really hope that this was helpful. And I really, really hope that you understand you deserve the best life. You deserve to wake up every day with joy in your heart. You deserve to wake up every day being thankful you're alive. I know some people who are going through things, and when they wake up in the morning, they're like, oh, I can't do it today. I don't want to be here. They're having thoughts of, suicide or thoughts of just why am I here right now at this time on this earth? There is a purpose, there's a reason for you to be here. And if you're feeling that way because of the relationship you're in, please take the necessary steps to move on. Take the necessary steps for you, your children, your family to move on and be happy. I know it's hard sometimes. I know it seems like things will not get better, but I want to tell you when you're in the moment, don't make any hasty decisions because it does get better. Life is worth living. And you know what? I'm going to end this with prayer. I just feel like there's someone out there who needs a little more than just an encouraging word, but you need to be covered with prayer tonight. So, Heavenly Father, we just thank you right now. I thank you for every person who's watching this video. Thank you for every person who joined me on this live. Lord, I know that you came so that we will have life and have life more abundantly. You came because you want us to be fulfilled and you love us, God. You gave your son, Jesus Christ, who died for our sins. And not only did he die for our sins, he died so that we can have everything that your word has promised. God, I pray right now for that person who wants to give up. I pray right now for that woman who is in an abusive relationship and she doesn't understand why this is happening to her. She doesn't even understand how she got there, God. She doesn't know, but God, you know you are a deliverer and you can help her find her way out if she just lean into you and trust you, God. So I thank you right now for every person who's under the sound of my voice. Let them know that you love them. Let them know that you are not such a big God that you don't care about everything going on in their lives right now, God. You care about the good, the bad. You have numbered the hairs on our head. You know everything about us, God. We are made in your image. Every unique fingerprint for every person who's ever walked this earth has a unique fingerprint, and no two people are exactly the same. How can someone not believe in a God that big who create the stars, who create the moons, who create the leaves, the trees, everything, who created our human bodies? So I just thank you right now. And Lord, I pray that your spirit and your love overtakes everyone and overflows in our lives right now so that we understand the true meaning of love, that we understand the true meaning of what your word said in Corinthians, God, that love is patient, love is kind, love is not puffed up, God. We just thank you for all those things. And as each person does their assignment this week and they write their names in that scripture defining love, I pray that you speak to them and let them know your spirit is within them, and they are loved, and they are loved. And I pray for everyone right now for peace and blessings over their lives. In Jesus' name. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you on the next live. Survivors, advocate, inspire, and live after abuse. We shall overcome. We got this, y'all. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. I appreciate you all being here. And I got to put my glasses on because I can't see my screen to end the live. That's what happens when you're 49 years old. You know, your eyesight starts going. Okay, guys, I thank you so much for joining me. Let's see, I've got to end the stream on both platforms. So